Let's start with the basics. John Wick isn't even his real name. His birth name is Jardani Jovonovich. He's of Belarusian descent and was raised in the Ruska Roma crime syndicate. The Ruska Roma are a real-life Romani subgroup within the Romani diaspora, which brings some deep realism to John's family roots. It tells us that John didn't just grow up being rough. Being part of the violent Ruska Roma syndicate, he was raised to kill, conditioned from childhood within a ruthless criminal underworld. The very plain-sounding name, John Wick, is just the alias he adopted when he left that life behind. But Jovonovich and Wick aren't the only names he's known by. Viggo Tarasov also calls him Babayaga, and there's probably never been a more appropriate name for John Wick. When his name is whispered among criminals, it's not just fear, but the acceptance that death will undoubtedly follow wherever he goes. He doesn't kill because he can. He kills because once he's set on a path, there's nothing in this world that can stop him. Wick's mastery of languages is another overlooked part of his deadly skill set. His ability to speak multiple languages allows him to move through different criminal cultures seamlessly, whether he's bargaining with the Russian mob or negotiating with the Italian Camorra. It's another tool in his arsenal, making him lethal not just with guns, but with words and understanding. Considering his European background and being part of Romani heritage, it makes sense that he's multilingual, but it is easily disregarded. Throughout the films, we see him switching between English, Russian, Italian, and even American Sign Language without hesitation. John Wick's tattoos tell you everything about who he is. The Latin phrase across his back, Fortis Fortuna Adiuvat, which translates to Fortune favors the brave, is linked to elite military units. He's also got smaller, military-style markings that fans often miss. These are located both on his shoulder and wrists, and though never explicitly mentioned, they show important information, including ID and blood-type tattoos, which are common markings in field-ready operatives. Considering Wick's incredibly high skills in tactical fighting, it is a surefire indication that he has a special forces background. Beneath his Latin phrase, he also has artwork of praying hands holding a rosary, suggesting Wick's guilt, regret, and maybe a lost sense of faith. Fitting for a man trying to outrun his past. Even the style of his ink is very John Wick in its stark functionality. There's no color, no flash, just deep personal meanings. There's even a subtle nod to Russian criminal tattoo culture, tying back to his Ruska Roman upbringing. These tattoos are Wick's story written on his skin. His back could be used to create a prequel script about his origins, focusing on the loss, loyalty, faith, and discipline of a soldier turned legend. Despite the massive body count, John isn't a sadist. He doesn't kill unless he has to. The violence is a necessary evil for him. In fact, the biggest thing fans easily overlook is the fact that, actually, John doesn't want to kill anyone. He's not bloodthirsty. He was forced back into this murderous life. First by Yosef, then by Santino, and then by the High Table. The guy is just trying to survive and protect his freedom. Just let the man retire. Wick is adept at getting the job done, but taking no joy in it. If you watch closely at how he moves through the scenes, you'll see that once someone's down, he moves on. No need for torture or revengeful excessive overkill. He delivers a quick, merciful headshot and keeps going. Even in the High Table War, he avoids unnecessary casualties, only targeting those in his path. His shots of choice are center mass, double taps, and headshots. He's not spraying bullets wildly. And one of the most talked about behind-the-scenes stats is that John Wick lands shots with a minimum 86% accuracy rate across the movies. His style reflects a cold, clinical professionalism. He doesn't enjoy the killing. He treats it like a grim necessity, a job that must be done quickly and cleanly. For a man with such a brutal reputation, John Wick is surprisingly merciful when he can be. For a man known as Death Incarnate, John Wick has a strict moral code. And speaking of codes, he also still operates under the same rules he did before he retired, which is the same as the assassins around him. There's no business on continental grounds. Debts must be paid and markers must be honored. However, this takes a much lower priority than his own sense of justice. So when Santino betrays him and takes sanctuary in the Continental, John has no problem ripping up his assassin rulebook to execute Santino on hallowed ground. He's not afraid to burn the world down if the rules are broken against him. It shows that while John respects the system, he values personal justice more. When the system protects the corrupt, John isn't afraid to destroy it. He's a man of principle, but those principles are his own. and woe betide anyone who crosses them. It's not a surprise, really, considering his past, and though it's never said outright, John Wick's actions strongly hint at post-traumatic stress disorder. He isolates himself, struggles with emotional detachment, and shows hypervigilance in every situation. His relationship with Helen was his one really honest and safe outlet for his emotions, and once that's stripped away, John is left battling not just external enemies, but internal demons. His trauma is another layer of realism that sets him apart from most action heroes. John isn't invincible. He's deeply broken, and every step he takes through the criminal world tears him down just a little bit more. Now, everyone can happily admit that John Wick can wear the hell out of a suit, but Wick wouldn't be Wick if there wasn't some functional reason for him to stay so dapper. The suits may be sharp, but they're also bulletproof. Mad as it may seem, Winston knows a guy who specializes in tailoring and ballistic armor. In Chapter 2, John gets a bespoke suit made with tactical lining that stops bullets. It explains how he survives countless close-range attacks without being shredded. His fighting style even adapts around his literal suit of armor, from blocking bullets with his arms, not in a Wonder Woman way though, to pulling his jacket up like a shield. So, as cool as it looks to see Wick popping up his collar before a fight, it's also for protection. This is a detail so subtle you might miss it, but John never removes his wedding ring. It's there in every single movie. Even during battle, even years after Helen's death, he keeps that ring on his finger. It's a constant reminder of what he lost and what he's fighting for. The ring is a symbol of love, grief, and hope, which are a direct correlation to the three emotions that define John's internal struggle. It's also his one connection to the peace he managed to find. No matter how many people he kills, no matter how deep he goes into the criminal world, that ring is proof that somewhere inside, he's more than just a killing machine. By Chapter 4, John Wick isn't just fighting for his own life. He becomes a symbol for rebellion against the High Table. Assassins everywhere start questioning the system. The power of the High Table starts to shake. John isn't just an assassin anymore. He's a legend, a martyr, and possibly even a myth in the making. Wick's legendary status has made him as formidable as the name Tarasov once gave him. And in keeping the duality of Yaga, he's definitely become an ally and a name to fear. Whether he lives or dies, his story is going to echo through the underworld for decades. Now that you know the truth behind Jardani Jovonovich, aka Babayaga, aka John Wick, what do you think? Do any of these details surprise you? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives just like this. Thanks for watching ScreenRant, and we'll see you next time.